Most people know me because I run Kids at Their Best. A lot of people know me as Jodi. I grew up here. I was born and raised in Morgan County. I left, I came back, I started a nonprofit, and I like the biggest thing I do is we do empowerment for youth, and we do it on a national level, which is kind of fun because people now know where Morgan County, Colorado is. And I'm running for commissioner because we need a little bit of a shakeup. We need some more visible commissioners, we need some more transparency, and we need a little bit of fun in that office. Some of the biggest things coming from Morgan County is growth. We are the hot spot for people living and working in Denver and Greeley and Fort Collins, and they really want to come live out here because it's affordable and it's small town and it's a great community. We've also got all of the solar coming in. We've got a ton of green energy as we phase out of coal. There's a lot of things coming for this community that's going to need some really savvy people in there to make sure that we have the best people coming into our community and that it all benefits our community.
My name's Kelvin Bernhardt. I'm also a lifelong resident of Morgan County. I grew up in the Wiggins area. I went to school in the Wiggins area. When I got out of school, I come from an agricultural based background. I actually farmed for 21 years. During the time I was farming, I married my wife, Lori. She was a school teacher. She taught in Fort Morgan for 34 years. Also, while I farmed, I was with the Wiggins Fire Department. I served 20 years with Wiggins Fire Department. That's after about 21 years of farming. I retired from farming, got involved in law enforcement, worked with the Morgan County Sheriff's Office. I've been there for the last 25 years. I've worked in the jail, I've worked patrol. For the last 12 years, I've been an investigator for the sheriff.
What makes you, with your experience in life in the past, what makes you think qualified to be a commissioner?
Being a commissioner does take up a lot of time. With my past with public service between fire department and working with the county, I feel very comfortable with a lot of the knowledge in the county. I've worked with the Morgan County Emergency Services, with the ambulance service. I've been through the fire department. I've been able to see a lot of the needs of the county. And being county commissioner will be a full-time position for me. I want to continue working in public service and help make this county the best it's ever been.
So you will stay or quit your current job or stay with it?
I will be retiring. But probably if I do get elected, I'll probably have my retirement letter ready to go. And
ready to go on day one?
Turn it in within the first week.
Commissioner is a really complicated position. You're the treasurer for the county, you're looking out for the best interest of the county, you're looking out for the people of the county, and you're looking out for county employees. And I think that takes a depth of knowledge. Kelvin and my dad actually worked together. So we're talking generational stuff here. We're solid on that. But with nonprofit background, with business background, I run my own business. We run a family farm. So I understand the struggles of the agricultural community. I also understand the importance of the Right to Farm Act around here. There's a ton of things with nonprofit, how nonprofit filters into the business community and how it connects together the community. I understand those pieces. I also understand the political end. People don't think of nonprofit as being political, but the amount of time that I stand up at the State House every year and the time that I spend in DC watching legislation and pushing things through, or helping push things through that are going to benefit our community are long. Aside from that, I've run my own business for several years. That business knowledge, I think, is one of the things that we're kind of missing. It used to be that our commissioners and our leaders in the community were business people that always looked at everything from the business lens and then spread everything out from there. I think we need some of that back.
But why do you think, even at this level, it's starting to get too political as far as Democrat, Republican goes and the bickering back and forth until the next level? I mean, they do say that commissioners probably have the most power in government when it starts when it comes to land use, because it starts with you guys. But why do we need to get too political right away?
Oh, I don't think this is a political one, and I think that's going to come out in this election. Um, the feds are really busy being political because they have to. The House and the Senate, it's who has the most people on their team, how things are going to get pushed through. Commissioner is a local position. There's only 3 of us, and we have to work together. It doesn't matter if you're Libertarian, if you're Green Party, if you're unaffiliated. Those 3 people have to work together for the good of the community. And I think from what I've seen with Dusty, with some other people coming around, I don't think we're going to see that political polarization at a local level this year. I think we're breaking through that, and it's really exciting.
See, and that's what when I sent you guys the email, I said, debate is just, to me, it's like a fighting question. I don't know why we can't just answer it. Yeah, Q&A, just answer and talk and be good with it, not argue so much and bickering about it. But so with that said, going into being a commissioner and land use, how does it work? Give me a little, again, remember, I only voted for the first time in the primary ever. So I voted this time. So I'm moving a step ahead, but I'm learning. This has been a very huge learning curve for me. I wish I would have paid a lot more attention in government school, but I didn't. But
a lot of times they don't even teach government anymore.
They don't get into detail about it, really. They just kind of glance over is what they do. But give me when it comes to land use, how does it affect us as a citizens use and what you guys do as commissioners?
Land use, a lot goes to the property owner's rights. We really can't have a lot of say with what the property owners want to do with their property. If a property owner is wanting to sell it, that is well within their right. We do need to have some more business coming into Morgan County. Hopefully it is the right business, something that is very beneficial for everybody in the county. And I would also like to go back to one of your previous questions. Jody kind of touched on it. We as county commissioners, we do not represent just the Democrats, Republicans, or Libertarians. We represent the people. We should represent. I will listen to every one of them. I'm sure Jody
commissioners and time management. Either sometimes you're not able to get a hold of them. Respond time is takes a long time. They either do or they don't, which I think they should, regardless of the question, whether it's a simple question. I don't think no question is a stupid question, but there are some. And but what do you feel about that in the time management and answering the people's questions and taking the time to do that?
Answering the people's questions, since we do answer to the people, is very important. And I will be keeping regular office hours. If I'm working, I will answer a phone call unless I'm in a meeting. If I don't answer a phone call, you can't answer a phone call right away. Phone calls need to be returned as soon as possible.
You've got 24 hours in a day. And as a business owner, some people work 9 to 5, they work 8 of them. Some people work part-time. Business owners work all 24 hours. Farmers work all 24 hours. I am going to cut a little bit of slack to our current commissioners. They have a lot of obligations on their plate. They sit on a lot of committees. They sit on a lot of boards. And I think that's another thing that needs to be evaluated. Do commissioners need to be involved and they need to know what's going on in the community? But do they need to be at this many meetings every month? Do they need to sit on this many boards? How much time should they spend in the office? And everybody knows I'm easy to get a hold of. Okay, kind of. Everybody's got my phone number. My campaign number is the same as my regular number. But we also have to consider if you've got 400 people walking into your office to talk about the same issue, maybe there needs to be meetings set up. And this is part of time management. Rather than answering 400 phone calls over and over again, if there's something coming up in the county, let's be proactive about it. Let's set up a meeting and let's set up a couple of them. Because some people work during the day, some people work at night. Let's set up meetings so they can visit about it. Let's do some Zoom meetings. Let's use our technology and let's be smart about how we use those 24 hours in a day instead of just waiting for people to get in line. I know the commissioners at one point in time wouldn't respond to anybody unless all three of them were together. And that was really, really hard to do. It made them hard to nail down. I don't see that being the way in the future, but there's also a piece of, you can't have Kelvin giving one answer and me giving another answer when you're part of a team. So I hope that the new team that comes in takes the experience that's at the table, takes the new thoughts that are there, and finds some good use of that time so people feel that the commissioners are accessible and not hidden behind locked doors.
I think I'd like to see a change in the commissioners meeting and the public not being at 9 o'clock in the morning.
You think?
I understand that, it's the time that you guys are in office, maybe, or that's the time of day, but city council does it, after, 5 o'clock, I think it is. I'd like to see that. I mean, I understand, it's an extra time after 5. Sometimes people like to go home and do your thing, but it's, once a month, or every 2 weeks? Once a month, I think commissioners and city councils or once a month also. So.
It's a lot of times it's the first and third.
There you go. Yeah. First
Tuesdays.
Monday, Tuesday,
Tuesdays, and they have a lot of meetings on Mondays too, and some on Wednesdays.
So I'd like to see that change for the people like myself to be able to make a meeting if there was something I'd like to hear of importance of, because I think a lot of people get their schedules are 8 to 5 during the work day.
Well, and I feel really strongly if you're going to be a public servant, you need to be available to the public.
Yeah. So also with that, I'm going to go back to what many say and see what you guys think. I mean, many say that the commissioners have more power, most power in government because of, it starts with you when it comes to any type of building, businesses coming, manufacturing, these solar plant or fields, however you want to call them. We'll touch on that a little bit more. But what do you guys think about that comment or how they reference that?
I think that it's a multi. Throughout the county, there's a lot of people that are going to have a say about who's coming, when they're coming, how they're coming. The commissioners do have a lot of say in land use. They have a lot of say in the benefits that we're going to offer to communities, not so much within the cities, but within the county unincorporated. I think that's true, but I also think that it's a team effort, or at least it should be a team effort. Now there's economic development, there's the small business association, like all these things interplay to make business happen in our community.
How do you feel about it?
It is definitely a team effort, and I do know the current county commissioners, they have divided up some of the meetings. I know that Commissioner Becker goes to some of the meetings. He sits in on the board of the Morgan County Economics. And then the other commissioners, they also have their meetings that they go to and sit on the boards there too. Everyone's in this county needs to work together. That way it keeps everyone on the same page, and it's the best for everyone, not just the county, but the people in the city and the little towns.
So with that, county commissioners, the Economic Development Group, the City of Fort Morgan, and the Chamber all play a huge part in our community in Morgan County, and what happens as far as when it comes to streets, roads, the bridges, the outside the city limits roads, businesses coming to town, companies, manufacturers, or factories coming to town. How should they work together to make all this happen for us?
So each of the agencies need to know what the other ones do. If there's a big business looking to come in, both the city and the county, they need to be listening, they need to be talking, working together, be transparent with them. And there should be some transparency, a lot of transparency with the public too. Hey, this company is moving into the area. What are your opinions on it?
Thank you.
So the Chamber, Morgan County Economic Development Corporation, and the commissioners all work in tandem. So the chamber being the most personal level, they're in charge of business networking. They're in charge of supporting small business. The Main Street businesses, making sure that they're connected, making sure that their needs are being met, making sure that they know what each other are doing. Then when you go up to the economic development level, economic development is actually a business underneath the county. And they're in charge not only of bringing business to the community, but making sure that we have workforce, making sure that we have childcare, making sure that we have housing, so those businesses can actually operate within our community.
Do you think that the chamber should focus a little bit more on I don't want to put this, focus a little bit more on local business and follow up with those and keeping those businesses tied more into the city area than trying to get so many businesses just at the chamber with the chamber?
I think the chamber has been, I mean, I've sat on chamber boards before. When Ron Prasher had the brush chamber was when I was very first starting Kids at Their Best, and Ron tucked us under his wing, and we got to meet people, and he made sure that we networked. I think it would be awesome if we had a county chamber, because currently Wiggins doesn't have a chamber. Morgan does, Brush does, everybody can join any chamber. And I think it would be awesome if we just had that chamber umbrella that really supported those small businesses and big businesses.
Businesses need to be supported. The chambers, they're pretty good at promoting business. They need to promote business. They need to promote employment. There's a lot in Morgan County that they usually are very good at promoting.
Yeah.
But both of them have web pages that you can look up a lot of information on it.
Now, before I go, I'll step on that. But let's go with the economic group. How do you feel about them and when they bring in businesses? Should we have all these businesses being part of like the boards of the economic group or boards of the chamber, or should we keep that separate? Let the citizens be part of the boards and let us decide what's going on. Because I feel like some of these businesses, I'll just go out and say it, the solar farms are coming in. They're telling a lot of people what to do, not asking what to do. I feel that there's more than what we're told doing and more that's going on than what the citizens know about, because you always get that, well, I didn't know that this was going on. I didn't know that meeting was about, this open house or whatever it was about this business coming in. Well, obviously you got to stay up on the things if you're a citizen, but again, are they telling us everything when we should be told everything?
Is this one mine?
Either one of you.
Go ahead.
Okay. So that one gets a little complicated in that sometimes there are businesses that are coming in, and while they're working on those negotiations of what they're going to do, there's proprietary issues. There's all kinds of issues that come in that maybe doesn't need to be announced at the very beginning. I do think that we could do a better job of this is what we're looking at, this is what we're not looking at. But I think, so currently the board of the Economic Development Corporation is made up of one commissioner and then businesses that have bought into economic development. And it's a fairly cheap buy-in to be part of that. So I'm going to push back on you a little bit that I think that board really is made up of citizens of the community and people that are invested and involved in the community, and not just random people that happen to have a business here. I think the citizen thing really is important, but I think the people that are on that board are citizens. And maybe what needs to be done is maybe there needs to be some info sessions. Here's how tourism works. Here's how economic development works. Here's how road and bridge works. So people understand the inner workings of the community and the inner workings of what falls underneath the commissioner level and what falls under local government and then what is state level.
But do we really have to have the businesses that are coming in? I'm just the solar farms that are getting put in. Do we really need their people on our boards? I understand that they need to be there for maybe answering question and answer type of purpose, but do they really need to be on our board, part of our board?
I could be wrong, but I don't think any of the solar companies are on that board.
I don't
They
believe
just do
so.
a shuffle.
Then we need to probably check on the one that's going on in Wiggins, because on their website they do claim that their people are on our board,
Did Taylor just?
unless it's been changed. But I got all that information before
I
you see
think
it.
that would be a good one to check into.
Because that guy won't get back to me to talk to me either. So
It's okay. He won't get back to me either.
So, and it's, if they're not, I think that it needs to be cleared up a little bit, because like I said, it is on their website. They do claim to be part of our economic group and on the board.
So they've probably bought into the economic group. That would not surprise me at all.
As investors, which I understand.
Exactly. And I also firmly believe if you want to do business in our county, show me that you're invested in our county. Don't just show up and take. What are you giving back is an important question.
But I think when they do that, money changes a lot of people's minds on whether you do something or not. And
Money talks, unfortunately.
it's bad.
With a lot of people.
And it's bad because I think that's how I feel that we're getting told what to do and not asked what to do, because they flash that dollar and people fold and go for it before they think about what's really going on.
Well, and Wiggins ends up being a real hot topic, because are you going to tell somebody what to do with their land?
But again, enough money will.
Well, yes, and
Well, like even for my house, if someone offered me enough money, I would have to think about taking it.
And
I would be mad if someone said, "Hey, you cannot sell this."
Yeah, and I think my biggest concern that also is the future. The future, these projects get cut up and they get passed on to other buyers. Is the end process in 30, 40 years, when they're supposed to clean all this mess up, really going to happen? And if not, who's going to be held accountable to it?
And that's one of the things that the commissioners should be responsible for.
And I think that has to be done.
Farms, perfect example of that.
Yep. And it just end up being just graveyards for solar stuff and the wind farms things. And I don't think then the land's really no good. There's no use for it because there's so much junk on it.
And that is something that should be talked about before it ever comes in.
Yeah.
So what you're doing now, what are you going to do 5 years from now? What are you going to do 10 years from now? If this becomes outdated, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to clean up this place?
Yep, exactly. So with that also, in Wiggins, there's been some issues that have come up, been on the TV, been in the paper. I've tried to read into it a little bit more. I've talked to a couple of people. Give me your thoughts on what you think of this water issue. Has it been solved? Is it getting solved? Is it a hoax? Is it just someone crying? What do you think? What would you? And if it came when it comes to the commissioners, because it was back in the day when it started. I guess it's the commissioners did okay some of these deals that happened. So if it comes back to it, the thing that I don't like is that some of the commissioners just kind of, well, I wasn't there. It wasn't me. Well, someone's going to have to answer to it eventually, whether it comes up this year, next year, 5 more years down the road. So is this an issue we need to look into it and think about, or is it not?
It's something we need to be about. From what I've read about it and heard about it and listened on the news, it was something that fault actually goes back to the developer. He did not do things the way he should have done it. I mean, the county commissioners at the time, they did approve the zoning of it. But I don't know where the disconnect came from with the developer, if the developer didn't follow through with their water projects, if the developer didn't do all the testing that he should. But any project that comes in, that's something that the county should have a little bit of say in there and be able to compel the developer, hey, you need to follow through with everything that you're doing.
So definitely, you're saying it needs to go back on the developer. Someone has to say, ante up and just say, hey, I messed up, right?
But did they mess up?
That's the thing.
So I think this thing layers. So the commissioners approved the development down south. They approved for the developer to do buildings down there. They agreed to do a well system, their own water system, which is what people have the opportunity to do. A lot of our trailer parks and mobile home parks have their own water systems. That's what happened out at Wayward. And I feel like the situation at Wayward was a lot similar to the situation at East Ranch Road. So you put in your water system, everything's good. It's just like buying a house, right? You put in everything good. 20 years later, there's trees in your pipes. Things are going bad. Your water's hard, all those kind of things. Whose fault is that?
I mean, we have a well on our property. I mean, and that's our responsibility.
Exactly. So the community down there has their own water district, which is just like running a fire district. They have a board, they have all of those things in place. They've hired an operator to operate their water systems because, you know, you have to have an operator's license to do water in Colorado. I think what has happened is that operator or the board has not done their due diligence. So maybe the operator said, hey, we've got a problem, and the board didn't do something. Maybe the operator didn't say that they had a problem, and then the board finds this out. It's a question of how that whole entire agreement is written, how far the developer owns on that. But much like an HOA, the people are now responsible for that property, and they're responsible of the maintenance of it and taking care of it. And I think that's the first place that needs to be looked at in this, is where did the error happen? Was it the operator? Was it the board? Did the water truly change and we don't have water? The other question is that nobody's been able to answer so far is, what's it going to take to fix this? Is this as simple as back flushing your system, running the manganese out of it?
I think that has a lot to that. I don't think no one's asked or even attempted that yet. They just want to point the finger right away.
Right. And pointing fingers doesn't do us any good. You've got to get to the root of the problem. And then you solve the problem, you know? Backflush, see, get the manganese out, go from there. Public health, I will guarantee, has been checking that water on a regular basis.
They'd have to get the people out of there if there was something truly or serious.
Or bring in potable water.
A lot of the other people out in the area, farmers, they've been drinking that water for years and years.
I do know there was, I heard that there was some pushback when East Ranch Road kind of first started, that those farmers and their great big sprinklers were using all their water, and they didn't have that much water to water their lawns. So maybe it's a miscommunication, who knows?
So how much, since you mentioned, we're talking about water, have a say in water rights? Is there much?
No.
No, not at all? Nothing?
Water rights are gold in Colorado right now.
Oh yeah, the cost a pretty penny right now.
And not knocking the commissioners and not knocking Kelvin and I, but the people that negotiate water have way more experience and way more expertise than anybody around here does.
Yeah, they've got a lot of high-priced lawyers up in the Front Range area.
Yeah.
That's all they do is
tie up our tax bill.
No, most of these people are paid privately.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Maybe the Gold Rush one.
Yeah,
this is Gold Rush again.
The water is, yeah. I paid 12 years ago, 12,000 for a tap, and what are they around 50, 60 now?
Are you quality water? Or are you?
I was quality out in Trailside.
75.
Dang. And it was 11 years ago before my son was born. He's 10 now, so 12 years ago, but he's going to turn 11.
And 18, 19 years ago, I think we paid 3,000.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Do they not want us to build? Is that
Well, I don't know. My quality of water is getting harder and harder, and I don't want people to build, but that's a whole nother issue.
So, and just building in all filtering systems, infrastructure, and
It costs us.
that cost has gone up so much more too.
Parts and labor. I mean, everything costs a lot. So, another issue I see that's going to be a problem. I don't see it yet. This school year just started with the kids, but a big influx of people coming into town from Front Range, from other countries, from across the border. Is that an issue you guys feel it's going to be a problem, or maybe more of an issue when you guys get into office?
That is probably going to be more of an issue for the school boards, because because they're going to have to bring you.
We're gonna have to get some land use for homes. Gotta be living somewhere.
That's it. However, as far as teachers goes, it's the school board's going to have to be the ones bringing in the teachers, and there is constantly development going on in the Wiggins area between Kiowa Park, Southern Home developments. It's a constant issue.
How many homes you guys have going in Wiggins right now?
There's 328 rooftops in Kiowa Park. I think 128 at Road 8. I'm not totally sure about that number. And then 78 or so down at East Ranch Road, not counting people that have grabbed sprinkler corners and anything in between there. So Morgan County is projected. So when you look at the state demographer's office and you look at the numbers, Morgan County is actually projected to do a huge growth before 2050. We're also one of the few counties in the state that has youth and has people coming out here to have babies and people that want to stay in the community. We're in a really healthy economic position for growth. And people are coming out here. It's only an hour drive. And Wiggins is literally an hour drive from everywhere, from Fort Collins, from Greeley, from Denver, except for South Denver. That takes forever. So we're in a good position for that. And one of my frustrations, and whether this is the school district and the school board, or whether this ties up more with the state. So we had BEST grants to build new schools. Wiggins needed a new school. Theirs was outdated. When they built their school, they did not consider the cut that Kiowa Park was going in. They didn't look at the growth projections. They didn't talk to the demographer's office. They didn't talk to economic development. And now that school's small, so they've had to build another one. They're building these on the backs of taxpayers. And I want people around here to be smart. The Fort Morgan Middle School was built with a BEST grant. That means that 70% of the costs were covered by the state of Colorado. We've got the high school in Fort Morgan is busted at the seams. Rush just did a big new school on the BEST grant. We have got more people coming in. People need to be looking at things for 30, 40, 50 years out, not what's going to get us through tomorrow and what's going to look pretty.
And if you just look at the towns between Wiggins and Denver, right? Their growth has been tremendous. Raleigh, Kingsburg. And at Kingsburg, there's just this out of Kingsburg, you have a place where all the camper trailers are. There's looks like hundreds of camper trailers in there. All that just keeps moving further and further out this way.
Did some of these businesses that come in, like these solar farms, did they give big money to the schools, or are they going to?
Thanks.
I'm not sure that I can answer that.
I know Taylor Solar gave money to the fire department. I know some of the brush companies are doing some other things.
So
I think that's one of the things that the job of commissioner is. Congratulations. We'd love to have you here. What are you going to do to our economic drivers? What are you going to provide for the community? And what do you bring into us besides a business?
So
how do we make sure this is good for everybody in the community?
on the business end of it, I don't see what really kind of makes me mad is that they're going to provide, they said 450 jobs to build this and to start. So, well, those 450 people aren't going to come from our area because I don't think there's a business out here that will build those, that can build those businesses or that solar farm. When it's all said and done, you're going to leave us walking what, maybe 5 to 10 jobs. And those 5 or 10 people are going to have to be qualified, which I don't know if our college is working on that to get these kids out here to run these plants.
There's actually communication with the college to do some certifications in solar. So they're on top of that. I think it's going to be a new thing of the future, although, does anybody remember when wind came out and everybody could go to school and be a wind technician? And some people did, and it worked out really well for them. I look at solar being the same way. I also know that oil and gas is trying to do a certification in oil and gas production that could then run through the colleges, and kids out here could get certified to work in the oil field.
So do you think the colleges are going to be, are they starting to get equipped, do you know, with this, with the technology, or with the, I guess they could say the teachers to teach this stuff?
I think they're planning for, they're in the planning process.
It's in process.
Yeah. Okay. What about, having all these, again, we're going to need homes, we're going to need housing. Again, goes back to going to need teachers in the schools. Again, I know school just started. I haven't really looked into it. I know they brought some more teachers in, but 450 to 500 kids is what I read and told was come into the system. That's a lot of families.
Right, but it's spread out over 15, I think there's 15 schools in the county, somewhere in that neighborhood.
So not just elementaries.
Yeah, so it's spread out over different schools. There's a teacher cadet program where you can start in high school learning to be a teacher. As a matter of fact, we've got one of my students is on track to be a teacher. MCC is just now bringing in a 4-year teaching program. So kids can stay here and get their 4-year degree while they're working in our schools. We've also got, there's a ton of certification programs. So if people want to go into teaching, there's programs where we can get them into the schools and get them teaching. All of the districts in the county are doing a lot.
So let's touch a little bit on now what is the difference between both U.S. candidates and why? Why should I vote for you? Why do you think I should vote for you? Being again first-time voter, I'm looking to find a side. I'm not picking side because I honestly don't think in my mind that a person can vote straight up and down Republican or Democrat, and I don't like that we're made to do that.
Yes.
I wish that would change. I wish that would change because I think if we put everything all on the table and we went for it, I don't think anyone could pick straight up and down.
I truly would love to see people run. And then when they get elected, then you like peel off the sticky label and go, oh, look, I got a Democrat or I got a Republican.
I don't think you can. I mean, what do you think?
In the primary election, that's either Republican, Democrat. If you were unaffiliated, you have the choice to either. And that's a starting process in the general election. Like Jodi and I, she's running Democrat. I'm really the Republican. Get along with each other, we know each other.
Same area.
I like
Same
your wife
area.
better.
That's on the county side of it, I don't think that is as big of an issue with Republicans and Democrats. Whereas on the federal level, you're looking at vote everything Democrat, vote everything Republican. And in the true, no matter what the issue is, there should be people voting separate ways because they have separate opinions about things.
I think that get more people voting if they knew they could do that.
Well, and that's one of my next PSAs. I put one out last night. The American government system was designed in a two-party system under the theory that you're going to have this opinion, I'm going to have this opinion, and we're going to meet somewhere in the middle. It's probably what's best for the American citizens. So all of the bickering back and forth in government isn't a bad thing until you throw the corruption level on top of it.
Now, is the back and forth between Democrat and Republican it's always on funding and budget, which you guys
I would disagree with
you
that.
think that? From what I see as the outside, I feel it is because I think none of them can agree on what we're going to pay for and what should be paid for, what shouldn't be paid for. In what Jodi does, do you agree with the funding that she does for her projects and her business?
It is great for the kids. I've always been a big kid supporter. I've done, I don't know, over the last 20 years, I don't know how many thousands of hours I've put in with down at Wallen Valley School. A lot of it on my own time, just being there for the kids. Our whole government, our whole life depends on kids now and how they're taught.
Our future.
Yes, the kids need all the help and growth they can get.
I think they need to have the options out there. Because not all of us grow up and are wealthy.
There's a
No.
lot of families where mom and dads both work. They don't have time to do as much with their kids as what they would like to do.
So why not in government? Why not get both sides to agree and work together on a bigger project than just, you know, one side wanting something for the schooling and the kids, and one side don't because they don't want to pay for it. And why not work together as one to make a bigger, all come together?
That's the ideal of how it works. And if you get the right people in there, Kelvin can probably tell you this too. 99% of the time, there's compromise to be found.
Oh yeah,
You've just got to be willing to give and listen.
And look to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're at our level in our city, in our town, our county community. I mean, I think we are starting to do a good job. I think we need to do a better job. But I think once they get up in higher government, there starts we don't want to fund this or fund that, and
Right. But if you have a strong local government, that's part of the reason I ran on a Democratic ticket, because I got to tell you, there's nothing that kind of sucks more than opening your ballot and going, oh, look, there's absolutely no choices. I guess I'll fill in the bubbles.
yeah.
At very least, people will have a choice when they open that ballot this time.
Feel the same way?
Yes.
Yeah. And on the Q&A that we did, I was kind of strict on it. And I know that everyone kind of was out of the blue, because who am I to just come up, start doing some Q&As and debates, if you want to call them, or whatnot. And I got a lot of grief for it. I got some hate for it. And there were some things I kind of backed off on that I didn't want to touch or ask, because I got some slack. I mean, some bad reviews on it. They just told me to shut up, pretty much. That's why I got so strict on. I know, emails were sent out, what for it, and then you guys had a Republican one. The one I had was just across the board. That's why I didn't want to do a debate. I don't call it debate. But we didn't agree. We didn't catch each other at the right time for you to come in on that one, Kelvin, because we just missed times. But I don't know if you listened or watched it. But I mean, how do you feel about that? Trying to, for myself, understand government and the things, the way politics work. Never know. Maybe I'll get into it next year or the year after or 10 years down the road. But how did you feel about how we did that?
I watched most of it. There was where we were at. There was some breaks in it where we would lose signal.
Yeah.
It was a fairly good idea. I thought everyone did pretty good.
Yeah. So on this one we'll have I'm going to release audio and then audio and video, so that way it's clean and straight, so you won't miss. There won't be no cut up, and it's just because the connection's out here. But what other we'll go into 10 more main importance that you guys see is going to need to be handled next year.
I would like to see. There's a lot of issues where people are mad. They don't know. They say they don't know this. They don't know that. I would like to see more of something on social media, a good Facebook page. So many people, they go to social media now to find out their information. They don't Google it. If the county had a Facebook page, a good social media account, they could keep the people posted. Hey, there's a road project going on here. It's going to be closed for the next 3 weeks. Well, once a month, the department heads could put out something. This is what we've done. This is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. This is how it works. We need to educate the public. If the public knows what the county is doing, overall, they're going to be happy, and they will go to Facebook to get information. I've asked a lot of people, where do you go to get information?
I see the people. I mean, there's always going to be some people that are just bad, just idiots. I'll just say it, just idiots. They want to bash and they want to hate and make bad comments and stuff. And I'd like to see how those are handled. Are they handled? Does anybody go out and handle them? When it comes to the social media part of it, I see that the city now, I see they're starting to be a more modernized. I'll say modernizing what they're doing, putting the ads out there, putting the ads together, getting the word out there. I see Brent, putting a lot of things out there that really, he's the head of the city. I mean, that shows, to me, that shows a lot, because he's putting it out there. He's the one putting the posts, and he's the one, putting the ads that they have out for whether it's hiring or if there's an event going on. I would like to see city council do a little more modern look on their recordings, to get people going. I don't know if the commissioners have that. I know they have their it's online, their meetings, but is it modernized? Is it a little more funner to watch, let's put it that way, and get your guys' posts out. I mean, why not, when you got a project going on here, you have someone out there throwing some video, throwing some pictures up so the county sees that. I know they got a message thing that I'm on. I don't know if the commissioners have that, but you get a message anytime there's a road closure somewhere or there's a water, they're working on water lines, electricity lines, you get a message on your phone. I mean, I don't know if the commissioners have that or not yet.
No, but those are some of the things that we need to look at, because the fact is we're into a brand new century. It's 2024. People get their news here.
Yeah.
The Fort Morgan Times is going down to a weekly, and Bob Graham just passed away.
I did see that.
Means we lost a good guy. So
Good, he was a good guy. Good guy.
yeah, good, true, old fashioned.
Fun to talk to, for sure.
A little honoring.
Yep.
Gotta love that part.
Yep.
But people, the newer generation, they want quick blurbs.
Yep.
They want quick blurbs, and they'll go dig it down later.
And they want to see it on their phone.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Yes, on this little teeny tiny screen.
not too many. I mean, I haven't watched TV in 8-9 years now. I don't have, we have internet service. That's all we use. But
Yeah, but you don't have 9 news at 6 o'clock and
Nope.
5:30 and 10 o'clock.
nope. So I think it needs to be more modernized on how we get out information. I think.
And that's not a hard thing to do. We do that all the time with Kathy. Like, even I do some of it.
Yeah.
I feel like we're dating ourselves, like putting up Facebook. There's also Instagram
Yeah.
and Snapchat.
And that's
none
where-
of us are good at using it.
I don't know.
Life.
I don't know how to use those. I don't. I mean, I'm even outdated on stuff that I'm still using Facebook. I'll use TikTok and things like that. But it has to be to get the community involved or the county involved. I think we have to modernize everybody.
Mainly dealing with the younger generations.
Well, and more than that though, because like the Wiggins community page and Morgan County Buy and Sell and the bulletin board, and if you want information, those are the 3 places to get it.
True. Yeah, and then, instantly pictures and video because
Small towns.
someone's always somewhere recording something.
Their cameras are there.
Yeah. So I'm gonna one last question, then we'll end it on a little outro from each of you and myself. But how are we going to keep not only the kids, our graduates, in town to stay here, but how are we going to keep our people that come to town to stay in town? I mean, since 1998, we have pretty much the same population. Yes. How are we going to get that to go up instead of down, or if not flatline? Obviously, we're missing something on keeping the kids to stay after they graduate and people that move here to stay.
Fort Morgan actually has a fairly decent rate of people coming back. But you balance that with attrition of old people passing away, people moving, other people moving out of the community. I think we need to be smart about this. We don't want a ton of people coming in until we stabilize our housing market and we have a place for them to.
And there's actually a lot of people come in and go. A lot of the new homes in the Wiggins area, people from the Front Range come out, buy them, they build them, they realize that it's costing them more than what they thought, because the upkeep of the yards, and it's a lot more work, the drive back and forth, and then they wind up moving out. Someone else will come in and take the place.
$350,000 price difference in homes to live Denver to here?
I
Probably.
couldn't tell you. I'd say
That's crazy.
close.
The mean average in Denver right now, I think, is $650.
Yep, 650 is their
And in
average.
Morgan County, it's right at $400.
So that's quite a bit of difference for them to move out here.
Yeah.
So I mean that makes up the drive time in years will make it out. So the difference in driving back and forth between gas and the house, the price of the house.
One of the bad parts about driving back and forth is that you're losing that much more time with family and kids.
Hour there, hour back, hour and a half there, hour and a half back. So we'll end on one last thing from each of you. What do you want the people to know, again, on why you're running and why they should vote for you?
What can I go first this time?
That's, I've been in the public service between fire department and sheriff's office. I got within combined 45 years. I want to continue serving the public. I want to do the best that I can. If I'm elected county commissioner, it's going to be my full-time job. I am not going to have any other jobs. I will devote my time for that, to working for the people, with the people, and for the best of this county.
Jody?
The county commissioners have a lot coming down their plate. We had a RETAC audit by the state that shows that our EMS system is in a lot of trouble. We've got to look at that. We know that we have a jail that's hitting capacity. We know we have people
don't get on the jails.
We know that we have people coming into the community and we don't have enough housing. We're working on that right now. We need somebody in there that understands everything in this county from the bottom up, that understands all the interplay between the political and the financial and the business realm, and also needs to understand how, like, we can't base this on our taxpayers. We need to be seeking out state funds. We need to be seeking out federal funds. We need to be hitting dole up for funds. We need to do some smart things about how to do these projects and how to not do smart people while benefiting the community of Morgan County. I have all of those things and more. Plus, I'm always the fun one.
Right.
But we also have property taxes that have increased.
Yep.
The value of homes in Colorado. We have older people on fixed incomes that paid for their homes, that have lived in this community for decades.
The difference
that can't
between
afford their homes.
the difference between residential and business and taxes is outrageous. And I mean, that's just really cuts all into a lot of your profits from your business. I know you mentioned jails. My opinion on that is, it's not the Hilton, it's not the Hampton.
It doesn't need to be.
I understand our
It's safe
officers.
for our officers.
You worked as a police officer. They shouldn't have the luxuries that they have today. I think they do need housing. Yes, we need to make a bigger jail maybe, but it's not fancy. If you get in trouble, you got to own it. You got yourself there.
Yes, I would agree.
I would agree that we need to maybe agree on giving some money to our PD, our officers. I think they need the money more than a jail does. When you get in trouble and you do wrong, got to deal with it. Prison the same way. It's not the Hampton.
Well, like with the jail, though, we either need to make sure, and I'm sure Jerry agrees with me, that it's safe for safe for
Yes.
officers.
Make sure they have all their equipment, all what they need.
But it's more than equipment. It's the setup of the jail. It's where the doors lock. It's where people come in and where they pass through. And the fact that jail was built for a certain capacity and we're somewhere around double.
It's pushing
Yeah,
it.
they have added allotment blocks and everything to add to the capacity, but it's an older building.
Wow.
It is needing to be updated. They've actually done really well. They've been going in, updating all the lock systems and everything.
You need a bigger square with just a couple toilets.
Yeah,
Instead of rooms.
except doors where you're transporting in and out and how you're getting people in.
I totally agree with that one. Yes.
And the different kinds of people, like the 6 people that are shoplifting, the 4 people that have a DUI.
Yes.
And all those people can be in one room, but we have people with mental health issues that probably shouldn't be with everybody else because then that creates safety issues.
And that's what Warren County Jail's good with. A lot of mental health issues. They do the best they can, keeping them separate. The bad part with mental health issues nowadays, you can look at Main Street in Fort Morgan. If you drive through any underpass on the interstate, you're going to see tents up there.
Yep.
And there's no place for some of these people to go. There's a mental health crisis going on, whether it's alcohol-induced, drug-induced over so many years. They got a hold of some bad drugs. It would help if we could get that under control. Somewhere for these mental health people that to go.
When it comes to those alcoholic and drug, the people that they end up just getting lost in the system, or they go homeless. Things that is it how do you want to say it? Is it helping them to do bad more because we're giving them something?
Morgan County.
Enabling them, I guess that's the word I was looking for. Is it enabling them?
Morgan County, this is a little off topic. Morgan County currently has at least $3 million and possibly more like $4 million to devote toward housing and rapid rehousing. So give them a little bit of time. It's not a county issue, it's a nonprofit issue. And let's see what happens with those dollars. Because in theory, this will set everything straight.
But
See what happens.
giving people that, hey, you can just come and live here if you're on the street. I mean, is it enabling their not wanting to do nothing?
Depends on who they are.
Okay. Because I've been getting that comes from their taxpayer dollars, correct?
Well, so my daughter just worked on the big push to get everybody off the streets in Denver.
Yeah.
Like she
That's
works for
nice.
Dino. And what she found is when they got everybody into hotels, she's like, there were people getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go ride bikes to work because they just needed a place to be. And those people, by getting a place where they could shower and have their own, or like they were off to jobs. There were other people that were really ill and needed some type of help that we currently don't have the resources for in the state. So that's something. And then there's the substance abuse issues that, again, we don't have the resources for right now either.
It all takes money.
Yep.
The big dollar talks.
And time and money. Lots of time.
Yes.
Lots of time. So with that, guys, I want to say thank you guys. Maybe this was not your typical Fox News or CNN or MSNBC debate question type of answers, but you know what, the way I see it and what I'm going for is if it works for me, it's working for someone because I'm learning. And I'm sure anybody else wants to do it and have a try at it. You can use my equipment, go for it. And because nobody else out here is doing it. No one else out here is asking questions. No one else is giving answers. So that's how we got kind of put into this. We just said, hey, let's do it because no one else is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's again, we're not no professionals at it, but at least someone's trying to get some info out there. Maybe you don't agree with them, maybe you don't agree with me, but
we don't necessarily need professionals. We need average people asking average questions because that's who our constituent base is. And that's who I want to talk to.
And I think it comes better from someone that you see on the streets. Hey, that guy was that guy was doing the Q&A over there and he asked this question. That goes, tell him to ask and find out this, because I think a lot of people get scared of politics. They're scared to ask.
It's a learning curve. There's a lot to learn in it.
I've learned.
Politics are a machine.
Yeah.
And there are big people in the machine that don't want people to understand it because then that might topple their towers.
So,
I am all for making things understandable, getting people to understand how they vote. And by the way, I'm going to throw this out because I've gotten this question so many times. Kelvin and I are running for Morgan County Commissioner District 1, which is the west end of the county. Tim and Scott are running for Morgan County District 3, which is the east end of the county. Everybody in the county gets to vote.
Yep.
No matter where you live, you can vote for these positions. And then District 2 will be up again in 2 years.
it's crazy how that map works. Oh, it's all cut out, it's little jagged. It's right, and it cuts out right about to where I live and where my store's at. Is where it all kind of cuts out into your guys' district area. So.
But it boils down to two. Whoever is elected, we will represent the entire county.
That's good.
Jodi and I might be in District 1, but we will still represent the entire county.
You know, I can say that when it comes down to that, I think since everybody knows everybody in this area, I mean, or you know somebody that knows you, I mean, it just seems to work out. And I think either one of you or Tim and Scott will work well with Becker because he'll be the one that's going to kind of left behind, if you want to say, from the other two. But
John's never left behind.
But John's a good guy.
He's never left behind.
He's a good guy. I've known John for many years, but I think y'all work together pretty good, no matter who it is. And again, just because longtime citizens and knowing each other.
It is for the betterment of the county.
Yeah. So with that, guys, I appreciate it again. Thanks, guys, for coming out and taking some time out of your day, Sunday night, for coming and do this. I know it's a weird day to do it, but it's the time that I got. It's the time that I have. I will be next week with Tim and Scott. We'll see how that one goes. That one will be interesting. I have never met Scott. I know Tim for years, for quite a while. So where that one goes. And then after that, we did discuss when you came in, we'd like to get if I do get chance to get something in before the ballots get mailed out or when they do, So it keeps people fresh in their minds and get all four of you up and talking and answer some questions like we did on the last one. But we'll see what happens after next week on next Sunday. So
Thanks, Juan.
thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yep. And so hopefully see
Thanks,
you again.
everybody who's listening.
Yes, thank you all, and God bless you all.